Hi, here we are, Family Sociology, looking at part 2 of the lone parented family, majority or not, we don't know. Now, what I mentioned at the end of the last video is that we're going to look at are children in lone parented families at risk. Now, that could be at varying degrees of risk. And we're going to look at school achievement and employment, we'll look at family life, and we're going to look at the personal adjustment issues as it relates to a lone parented family. So I hope this is helpful for you. This is the second part of this chapter, chapter 9. We are now in week 9, so we are drawing near the end, and I hope you're getting stuff done. And good luck on the rest of the semester. And so let's get started on this chapter, on the second part of this chapter. Okay, so we mentioned we're going to look at are children in lone parent families at risk, and we'll start with school achievement and employment. School achievement, family life, and personal adjustments, children's risk in lone parent families are more like on a continuum of aspects of adjustment. So we're going to keep in mind that a continuum would be like a line with really bad on the left and really good on the right. And the risk to single parent families and their children run on that continuum. It's not an absolute black or white. So on average, children of single parented families don't do as well as do children in two-parent families. It really just seems to highlight the importance of having two parents to both share the responsibility and to provide the support to children, both financially and socially. Tends to be that two is better than one. Now that's, again, it's on a continuum. We will all know people who are single-parent families who are providing excellent support and services and employment opportunity and achievement success for their children and with their children. But the vast majority will be somewhere else from that. Now they're more likely, that is, children are more likely to drop out. That is, in schools, single-parented children are more likely to drop out and be less qualified for post-secondary. Now again, remember, this is on a continuum. We will all know people where we know of exceptions to that. They're more likely, as adults, to receive social welfare support, and they're less likely to own a home. Children growing up in divorced homes are likely to start work earlier than those from two-parented families or from a home where their father has died. So in terms of single-parented and school achievement and employment, the picture isn't the most bright, but like I said, it's on a continuum. So family life. There's two aspects of family life that are affected by lone parenthood. Relationship within the single-parent family. Secondly would be the relationship within the families formed by adult children of single parents. And so individuals who grow up in a lone parent families because of divorce are more likely to have formed partnerships or couple at an early age. Relationships within a single parent family, parenting style, low support, and unresolved issues are important variables. That is to say that in a single parented family, the parents' parenting style, how they choose to parent their child, the lower support just means that they are the lone support of their children in times because of the juggling of responsibilities of work, perhaps education, as well as household chores. There's the support to the child directly is less because there's not a partner there. And unresolved issues, there's just too many things to juggle, and at times things won't get resolved in a timely manner. Single parents are less likely to be emotionally supportive to their children. They tend to have harsher discipline. Things have to get done. And sometimes it just feels like things need to be done in a very timely, quick manner. So harsher discipline seems to be what happens, or less parental supervision. Because I'm cooking meals and doing this and doing that, I'm not able to provide the direct support to children. These issues are not solely a single parenthood issue, but they're much more complex. And however, the difficulty is, or the reality is that this is statistically bore out. The stats show that this seems to be the direction of what happens in family life. Now, are children in low parents families at risk? Well, we can carry this on further and look at the demographic component in terms of several explanations account for this difference between children from one parent and stable two-parent families. Some difficulties are a result of economic hardship. The quality of parenting may have an effect. Stress can create many problems, like a loss of contact with non-residential parent.
That is to say, if a husband and wife separate and divorce, and the child is with the mother, that loss of contact with the father can be a source of stress for children. Witnessing conflict in the family can lead to emotional and behavioral problems. It's not just, the difficulty is witnessing the conflict and having it carry on and on and on and on without resolution. Some children will do much better when that resolution has been rectified, whether that is through divorce or through a resolution of the conflict that doesn't arise again. And then there may be a genetic factor in terms of aggressive personality characteristics could contribute that has nothing to do with single parenting. The problem of these explanations is that they do not apply to all families. They provide only partial answers. Lone parent families are a varied group of quite different histories. There also may be difference in terms of cohort effect. And cohorts, if you remember, I mentioned in a previous video that cohorts are the group of people in a similar age group who go through life in the same degree of stages. And so that cohort, you are a member of a cohort. Right now, those of you in school who are between 17 and 25, that's your cohort. And so the experiences of all of you in that cohort would be varied. And the differences between you and the group of people from 25 to 35 would be different, and that would be the differences between cohorts. Young people are more likely today to live, at least for a time, as a single parent. These explanations also fail to account for the influence, for good or bad, of extended family members and friends. And so I have mentioned it already, and I'll mention it again. This is all on a continuum, and we'll find people who fall somewhere on this continuum of good experiences to bad experiences. Unfortunately, statistically, it bears out that most will fall short of good experience, and most will fall on that continuum towards a not so good experience. Now, if we look at the specific population of teen mothers, a teen mother is a woman who has her first child under the age of 20. There's no epidemic of teen births. In 2010, just 4% of all Canadian births were teen births, or teen mothers. More common among Aboriginal people than the rest of the Canadian population, but what has changed is that most teen mothers are now single mothers. Concern over teen births focus on fewer young ones, that is, under the age of 15, rather than the older majority of 18 plus. Not finished growing up physically is a big issue for that younger group, and they have the least amount of education and seem likeliest to live in poverty. The youngest teen mothers often live at home with parents. Once a baby is born, the teen mother may have difficulty returning to school, and that makes sense if you're looking after a child, but then the reliance on parents or grandparents, as it were, to help afford these opportunities for the single mom. Even when teen mothers marry, which rarely improves their financial status because their husbands have poor prospects. They're not usually much older, and their prospects for employment are not any better. Teen mothers are likely to have a lower educational level, in part because having to look after a child, some of their energies and resources go to that, and the prospects of post-secondary or continuing education can be very small. The kind of support young teens receive from their own parents and other relatives may prove very crucial to their future. And that just makes sense. And again, that has a lot to do with the kind of supports that anybody can get from their family. Now, one of the new groups of single parented that's gotten a lot more attention is that of the single father. The proportion of lone parented fathers is growing. In 2011, nearly 1 in 5 single parents were men, mainly because mothers are less frequently being awarded sole custody of children following the breakdown of a union. Men tend to become single parents in the middle or late years of the life cycle. Few are in their teens or 20s. Children of lone parent fathers tend to be older. Single fathers, more so than single mothers, are expected to be the sole economic support for family and tend to spend less time caring for a young child than single mothers do. So when we think in terms of this single-parented family, what might we think about the future? Well, all forecasts suggests an increase in the number of single-parented families, especially as a result of divorce. The level of poverty is high among single parents, has far-reaching effects on children's physical and intellectual development. Fathers are important to a child's development, and it really is just emphasizing the importance of two-parented families. That parenting is a team effort and has the best impact on children. Many single parents receive much emotional and practical support from their extended families, and this is important especially for the sake of children to eliminate the stigma against single-parented families that remain in society. So that is the completion of Chapter 9, the lone parent family, the future majority. I hope you've gained some information from that and look forward to seeing what we do in the next chapter when we look at divorce. All right, everybody, good luck and carry on the good fight. Bye now.